The yard sale setup. It was a sunny Saturday morning when I decided to host my first yard sale in years. After cleaning my garage for weeks, I finally had everything ready. Tables lined with books, vintage lamps, and old power tools I no longer used. I even made flyers and posted them online, inviting only the local community. By 8 a.m., people started trickling in. Families, neighbors, and even a few kids on bikes. Everything was going perfectly, until Karen showed up. She lived 3 houses down and was the self-proclaimed voice of our HOA. She strutted up, clipboard in hand, sunglasses on, and a fake smile plastered across her face. "Oh, I didn't see this event listed on the community calendar," she said in her usual condescending tone. "It's just a personal sale, Karen," I replied calmly. "No need to get the HOA involved." She frowned. I'll make sure to inform everyone anyway. The more the merrier, right?" I didn't think much of it at the time. Maybe she wanted to be helpful for once. But soon a flood of strangers started arriving. People I didn't recognize. And they weren't from our neighborhood. Some even parked on lawns and blocked driveways. One man asked if I was selling antiques from the ad. "What ad?" I asked, confused. "The one on Facebook Marketplace. Said everything was half price." That's when it hit me. Karen, she had posted my yard sale online with my address and fake discounts, turning it into a public event. Crowds kept coming, chaos erupted, and neighbors started complaining. Cars were honking, kids were crying, and someone almost knocked over my tool table. I finally saw Karen standing nearby, smugly chatting like she owned the place. "Karen!" I shouted. "Why would you do this?" She smirked. "You should have coordinated with the HOA. Now it's a community event." Before I could respond, a neighbor approached. "We just got an HOA email saying this sale is approved for everyone." "Did you do that?" My stomach dropped. Karen had used the HOA mailing list to promote her made-up version of my sale. The peace of my weekend was gone, and I knew one thing: this wasn't over. Karen doubles down. By the time I cleaned up the mess from Karen's community yard sale, I was fuming. I spent the next morning sorting through what was left. Half my things were gone, some stolen and others sold for ridiculous prices. Worse, the HOA's group email now made it look like I'd hosted a sanctioned neighborhood event. I decided to confront Karen directly. When I knocked on her door, she answered with her usual smirk, sipping coffee from a mug that said, "Queen of the Cul-de-sac." "Morning," she chirped. "Quite the turnout yesterday. You should be thanking me." "Thanking you?" I snapped. "Karen, you posted my address online. Strangers were all over my yard." She shrugged. "Well, it's public property until the sidewalk, technically. I was just helping you get more exposure. Isn't that the point of a yard sale?" I couldn't believe her nerve. "You lied in your post. You said everything was half off, and people got aggressive when I wouldn't honor it." Karen waved a manicured hand dismissively. Details. Maybe next time coordinate with the HOA like everyone else." That's when I realized she actually believed she'd done nothing wrong. Or worse, she knew exactly what she was doing and didn't care. Later that afternoon, I started getting texts from neighbors. Some thanked me for the great sale. Others complained about the parking chaos and noise. Then one message caught my attention. "Hey, did you know Karen collected money from some buyers saying she was helping you run the sale?" My jaw dropped. I checked my security camera footage, and there she was. Karen taking cash from people, pocketing it, and waving them toward my tables. That was it. I forwarded the footage to the HOA board. They weren't fans of Karen's antics either. And I made it clear she misused the HOA email list, posted unauthorized ads, and might have stolen money. The next day, I received an email from the HOA president. "We've received your complaint and evidence. We'll be launching a formal investigation into Karen's conduct. Please don't engage with her further." Perfect. I was finally being heard. But when Karen found out, she stormed over to my house like a thundercloud. "You went to the board about me?" she screamed. "You left me no choice," I replied. Her eyes narrowed. "You'll regret this." I shut the door before she could say more. My phone buzzed again, another message from the HOA president. Karen just demanded an emergency board meeting. It looked like she wasn't backing down quietly. The HOA hearing. The following week, the HOA scheduled a special hearing in the clubhouse. I arrived early, armed with printed screenshots, emails, and my camera footage on a USB drive. The room was already buzzing with whispers. Half. The neighborhood seemed to know something was going down. Karen walked in like she was attending a red carpet event. Perfect hair, oversized sunglasses, clipboard in hand. She gave me a smug grin and took a seat right across from me. The HOA president, Mr. Lawson, called the meeting to order. We're here to discuss a complaint regarding misuse of HOA communication, channels, and disruption of community peace. Karen immediately raised her hand. Before we start, I'd like to note that I was simply helping a neighbor promote his event. If anything, I deserve appreciation, not accusation. I almost laughed. You posted my address publicly, Karen. You invited strangers from outside the neighborhood, made up fake prices, and even took money from people. A murmur rippled through the room. Karen's face stiffened, but she didn't back down. Those were donations for the HOA's community fund. Mr. Lawson frowned. Karen, there is no community fund, nor were you authorized to collect money in the HOA's name. Karen shifted uncomfortably. Well, maybe I used poor wording, but I was doing what's best for the community. That's when I pulled out the printed screenshots of her Facebook post. The headline read, "Neighborhood Yard Sale, Everything 50% Off, hosted by the HOA," and below it, my home address. The board members' faces turned grim. Mr. Lawson asked, "Did you create this post?" Karen hesitated, then crossed her arms. "Maybe I did, but only because he didn't follow HOA event guidelines." I handed over the USB drive. The board watched the video of her pocketing money, giving orders and laughing as crowds flooded my property. The room fell silent. When the footage ended, Karen's fake confidence finally cracked. She stood up abruptly. "This is ridiculous. You're all against me." "Sit down, Karen," Mr. Lawson said sternly. "You misused HOA resources, caused public disturbance, and impersonated HOA authority." The board conferred quietly for a few minutes before Mr. Lawson announced, "We will issue a formal reprimand and launch a full ethics review. Pending the outcome, you're temporarily suspended from HOA communications." Karen's mouth fell open. "Suspended? You can't do that." "Oh, we can," Mr. Lawson replied calmly. "And we will." As the meeting ended, Karen glared at me with pure fury. "This isn't over," she hissed. But for once, I felt like I was finally winning. Karen's fallout. The week after the HOA hearing felt strangely peaceful. No surprise emails, no snide remarks, no clipboard inspections from Karen. For the first time in months, I could mow my lawn without feeling like someone was watching me. But that peace didn't last long. By midweek, gossip started spreading through the neighborhood Facebook group. Word had gotten out that the HOA had suspended Karen, and people were loving it. Memes of HOA Queen dethroned popped up overnight. Some neighbors even posted "yard sale, Karen not invited" signs as jokes. Karen, of course, didn't take it well. She began posting long rants online, claiming she was a victim of slander, and that the HOA had been hijacked by jealous residents. She even tried to host her own community meeting in her front yard, complete with folding chairs and lemonade. Only 2 people showed up, and one was her cat sitter. Meanwhile, the HOA's investigation continued. Mr. Lawson emailed me updates, confirming that they'd found multiple violations: unauthorized use of the HOA email list, impersonating an officer, and mishandling of money. She was now facing removal from the board altogether. One evening, as I was taking out the trash, Karen marched over, red-faced and furious. "You think you've won, don't you?" she barked. "You embarrassed me in front of everyone." I sighed. "Karen, you did that yourself. Maybe next time, respect people's privacy." She jabbed her finger in the air. "I was the HOA. Without me, this place will fall apart." I didn't respond. I just turned and walked back inside. Her yelling faded as I shut the door. The next day, an official letter from the HOA arrived. Karen had been formally removed from her position, barred from sending community messages, and fined for misusing HOA resources. She was also required to refund the money she'd taken during my yard sale. That weekend, the neighborhood felt different, lighter, friendlier. A few neighbors stopped by to apologize for believing Karen's version of events, and we even joked about throwing another yard sale, a real one this time. Later that evening, I watched from my porch as Karen packed her car. Boxes, bags, and that ever-present clipboard went into the trunk. She was moving out, muttering under her breath as she slammed the door. I couldn't help but smile. The HOA had finally turned the tables on her. As her car disappeared down the street, I leaned back in my chair, enjoying the quiet. No more fake yard sales, no more chaos, just peace and a well-earned victory.